Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Joey, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys two meta builds for the brand new, freshly reworked Oberon Prime. Very solid Warframe, great survivability, really solid damage, great for all different types of content in the game, whether you're deciding you're going to tank or you're going to go through level cap content, one-shotting enemies. You can do all these different kinds of things. And these builds I'm going to show you today are going to be really simple and really powerful. So getting into the first build I have for you guys today is going to be this level cap build right here. It's going to be this level cap Smite build. Now, this build is pretty much made for you to stay alive, sustain, have good pool, be able to deal enough damage with your first ability to one-shot anything, and we use Roar to manipulate the percentage amount. So we're going to go for growing power here as our aura mod. Now I have prime sure footed on here. Now I want to mention you get status immunity if you're standing on your second ability. But for me, I'm not putting these down all that much. I would rather just always have the knockdown immunity. So I have this on, but you don't need this. I'm just like, I just have this here because if I'm not spamming this all over the place, then I don't want to get knocked down. So I still have this here. But if you guys want to go for whatever you want here, totally fine. Now we go for Blind Rage on here. This is our only strength mod. It's getting us up to 199% power strength, which is more than enough that we're going to need for this build. We have 145% ability range. This is going to be for just our fourth ability to be able to get enemies to drop health orbs, to be able to proc things like our passive invulnerability, and be able to armor strip enemies as well on top of that, which is going to be really nice. But also our first ability is going to be capable of dealing some very significant damage, whether they are armor stripped or not. So we also have Equilibrium plus Flow on here. This is our Sustain plus Energy pool. We have 755 max energy, which is plenty. I have Primed Continuity on here for ability duration. This is our only duration mod. We're at 155% duration. I run Fast Deflection on here for a bit of shield regen. Because I'll be showing you, this is actually a build that we're going to be using with Huras. So there's going to be times when you come out of stealth, things like redirection for the max shield gate value of, well, we're 0.1 seconds off the max value, but we got 2.4 seconds of shield gate with this. We have rolling guard to protect ourselves as well, and then in those time periods, you're going to be able to get shields back from fast deflection each to the 0.6 seconds, or we'll be able to go back invisible. So this is really just your survivability right here. This will take care of you just fine. If you guys are more comfortable, you can go for even less than this or your own survivability setup of choice. But for me, this is just really comfortable, really simple. And I find that on the stat values across the board, I don't really need to change anything to achieve the kind of results that are capable of ripping through level cap with no problems whatsoever. So we also have Arcane Universal Fallout on here. This is going to be very important arcane. It's going to be per radiation stack. Enemies have a 6% chance to drop universal orbs on death. We're going to be proccing 10 stacks on all enemies at all times, pretty much. So every enemy you kill is going to have a 60% chance to drop a universal orb. So when you pick up these universal orbs, they're also going to be able to proc your passive, which is going to give you stacks of invulnerability, like a mini Mesmer skin. So you have really good survivability overall. So this is really great for sustain and also survivability. And then just for those level cap scenarios where it might come in handy, I do have Arcane Aegis on here. Now, I will say for this, if you're going to be running Huras, you don't need Aegis. You can go for whatever you want on here. This is just here for me for safety. Also, the aura is completely subjective to you guys. You guys can use whatever aura mod you want on here. You don't necessarily need to use growing power because your abilities aren't going to proc growing power. It needs to come from like a sentinel weapon, a companion, or yourself, like one of your weapons yourself. And if you're shooting, you're going to come out of stealth from the Huras. So if you guys want to find another way to work around this where you're not going to get your Huras to proc it itself, then do that. But it's okay. I'm going to be rocking with this for now. So this is the build we have here, and I'm going to show you guys how this build works. Now, it's very simple the way it works. Now to showcase this to you guys, I'm actually going to spawn in a bunch of Manic Bombards. So I'm going to unpause them as well. Now, my Huras has me invisible. You can see that I'm invisible. The enemies can't see me. You can tell by the little icon right here, I have Stalk. My Huras is also invisible, and the nice thing about the Huras is the Huras will attack while we're both invisible, and he will not come out of stealth, which is very nice. So what we're going to do here is you want to just, get your stacks up, pop Roar. You can throw down a Hallowed Ground if you so choose to, and then all you have to do after you have Roar, you don't need any priming, you don't need anything else on top of it, just press 1. And this will do enough percentage damage to kill anything that you're able to cast this on, pretty much. Like if you're doing like things like level cap Cascade, you're gonna be able to one-shot Thrax all the way through level cap with this, all the trash through level cap with this. You know, you can see it's very single target, so there's times where you might want to come out and use like some of your extra survivability. Like we have the Mesmer skin charges, and they're all gonna have radiation on them, so they're not gonna be attacking me all the time. And you know, you could do different things with this, but really it's just meant for, okay, here's my priority target, now it's gone. I could even show you guys on something like maybe if I spawned in a bunch of Dedicants in here. We can see what kind of damage I do to these Dedicants. You can see the Dedicant gets one-shotted, 5.7 million again, 6.1 million. You know, it just whatever HP value they have, it's going to get rid of. So this is a really, really great build if you're just looking to be able to one-shot everything at ease. Now, Smite used to be very annoying before the way it was. You needed to use things like Zata's Whisper because it launched out projectiles, and getting headshots was also valuable. So things like Zata's to redirect all the projectiles back towards the head made it really strong. But that was like about the only way you could really use it before. But now it's legitimately just point and press. Very, very simple. So if you guys are looking for like a really, really easy way to run through level cap, all you need to do is bring something like a Huras Kubro. You could also use something like the Shade. The Shade works too. Stalk will keep you invisible as long as you don't shoot your weapons. Like I said, you're just going to be spamming your 1 the whole time, so you're not really going to need to use your weapons all that much. So you get permanent invisibility. You're going to get one-shots on every priority target in front of you, and it's going to be able to take all these different types of enemies out. Now, as far as the second build goes that I have for you guys, this is just a general use SP build. This is what I use when I'm just running around Steel Path. Now, I want to say this as well. The helmet ability here is subjective. This is just fun to me. I find it fun that you can kind of just like take almost all your HP and damage, and then it'll just right back up to the top at the Mori, which is really nice. So it kind of helps even more so with the whole tank gameplay of Oberon himself. But what I have here for the build is I actually go for Corrosive Projection on here, which you don't even really need Corrosive Projection. But you can see I'm getting 83% armor reduction. If you want to use like Sling Strength, things like that, you want to use shards to bump it up, you can get to 100%. I'm just using Corrosive just so I don't need to use extra things. So we have 83% armor strip from our 4th ability, which is going to be just fine. So what we actually have on this build, like again, we have Prime Sure-Footed. We go for Prime Continuity here for the 55% ability duration. We're actually using an augment on this one. We're using a Hallowed Reckoning. Now, what Hallowed Reckoning does is Reckoning gains 40% range, which is very nice. It also gains a 3-meter radius around each affected enemy, or a 3-meter radius around each affected enemy that will grant bonus armor to allies and deals 300 damage to enemies per second. So this is going to increase your armor values, you know, which is going to be really, really nice for things like your 3rd ability percentage, because your 3rd ability does a percentage of your armor, so it's going to give you some really, really nice armor values for you know, tanking, HP tanking, things like that. Aside from the fact that you have all these other ways to stay alive on its own. So Hallowed Reckoning is going to be really, really good just to bolster this ability more. You can see that we get some more range on it. We get duration, we have normal duration, which is nice, but we get the armor increase. We're going to get 347 armor per like orb and everything. So it's going to work really, really well together. It's going to be a really smooth build. So once again, we have Flow plus Equilibrium right here. I have Rolling Guard. This is for safety, dropping status effects, whatever it may be. I have Rolling Guard here. Only survivability mod you need on the build. We go for Overextended here for big range, as we're going to want to have our 2 down in a very large radius, as well as be able to get our 3 in a very large radius to get a ton of armor, a ton of radiation procs out. So it's going to be really, really good in that regard as well. So we also have our 45% range mod right here. If you guys want to go for Archon Stretch here, you can. It's totally fine. Can I even fit it? Yeah, okay, boom. There you go. Archon Stretch, you can put this here. If you want to proc it through an external source, you could put Electric on your Panzer, whatever you want to use, you know, Doriga, whatever it may be. And then you could use Archon Stretch here. And then we also have Blind Rage on here for the big ability strength, because we are actually negative from Overextended. So this gets us up to 139. To me, 139 feels totally comfortable. Now, what I go for as well on here is I go for Arcane Universal Fallout, again, as this is really just the Oberon Arcane, or just the Radiation Warframe Arcane. I guess it would be probably really good on things like Corvex as well. I got to dive into that myself. Maybe I'll do a video for you guys on Corvex and see how that is. But Radiation is really, really abundant with Oberon, so having something like Universal Fallout is going to give us unlimited orbs. It's going to be really nice. So then we have Arcane Blessing on here. This is just going to give us 1200 HP for free. It's going to bolster the health tanking part of the build. It's going to allow for our armor to get more value because we have more HP to take more damage with. As you can see here, we start with 465. So we'll get really good value out of it. Now, so to showcase this build to you guys, I'm just going to show you guys how this works. It's a really, really simple build. So I'm going to have the AI unpaused here, so I'll be taking actual damage from these enemies. I have my Huras away. I have my Smite out, so I don't have to worry about, dealing with the invisibility of the Huras or anything right now, because that would just make this annoying. So what you can see here now is not even just the fact that we have... I got to get my actual blessing stacks up too. I don't even have any of these up. And you can see here. So now you can see I could even like stand in the middle of these enemies that they're still going to attack each other because of the radiation status effect. What the radiation status effect is going to do. Now you're going to see that we actually have really good survivability still because of things like Omamori, because of things like the amount of armor we have. We have CC. We also have things like Rolling Guard. If we really needed to be safe, you could throw more hallowed grounds down. And don't forget, while you're on hallowed ground, you're not going to take any status damage because you are status immune. You're just dealing with raw damage. So you can really see the survivability well here. And this build in particular, like, yes, you can use it, obviously, when you're just running around and killing normal things. But the main spotlight of it that I wanted to showcase was the fact of how tanky it really is without really needing, like, any umbral mod, like no triple umbral forming or anything like that. It's a very, very tanky build. Omamori definitely comes in handy when it comes to staying alive. It heals you a good amount. And then having things like radiation to, block out, enemy lines. They're going to be shooting at each other instead of me. Overall, really, like, you could just see the amount of survivability that something like this gets. Now, even, like, more so, you use your fourth ability, you get the extra armor, and you could just have, like, such insane armor values now and such insane, like, amounts of health regen. You can see, like, all of them are shooting at me and ripping me, and then I can just roll, and I'll get all my HP back. And you're still good. And you can see here, too, I'm not even killing the enemies. Like, if you start killing the enemies and picking up, HP orbs as you kill, then you're going to get the passive to proc back up, and you're going to get even more survivability. So even without the passive doing anything for me whatsoever, you can see this build has full survivability. And things like this armor increase are going to be, eligible for your teammates as well. So when you cast things like your third ability, you're going to be able to grant things like bonus armor to your teammates, which is going to be really, really helpful. Health per second to your teammates, which is going to be really, really helpful. It has a drain per second on it, but with the amount of orbs that we're going to produce with a build like this, it doesn't matter. It's going to work just fine. You're not even going to notice that it's going down. You're just going to be able to keep it on the entire time. So if you guys enjoyed this build video today, let me know down below. Subscribe, leave a like. Thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.